Here's Ken. Good afternoon. I'm Ken Casner. I'm your hidden secret weapon that you haven't used yet. And the reason being is because when I filed on the 14th of May, I filed as an independent Democratic candidate. Wyoming law says to run in a Democratic Party, you have to be a part of that party. I've been 3 generations of Democrat, just don't know. I also have a 2-star education. What I call a 2-star education is I've taken 3 shots at the governor's title. And during that time period, I've also studied from the county all the way to the top. Now, what am I going to do for you and your constituents? First of all, look around you. Look it around and you see kids. And you see young kids running around here. We're the old war horses, everybody says, but there's the future out there. What are we going to give them? First of all, I have to see and talk to people in just my community. I run my own campaign. I don't take no money from anybody because you need the money. Everyone in this town and sitting in this place needs money. Number 1 issue in Wyoming today is universal health care. How are you going to get health care? I do it. I know exactly how I do it. Second, what's the next thing you're going to do? You say, well, we got all this money and we got all these minerals and we got everything else and we have to pay taxes and everything else. Let me ask you, what you get on your returns and your taxes? What do you get back as a working family in Wyoming for taxes? You don't get very much. But if you go to Alaska and see what Alaska did way back when they said, oh, you want our oil? Okay, come on in. What did they do? They took that and they made that tax, and it's a royalty to everybody in the state of Alaska now. You get a royalty check at the end of the year. How do you pay for universal health care? That's easy to me. You have every avenue in this state to make money. And you hear it from every politician. I'm not a politician. And basically, I'm telling you from here. I'm not telling you from here. What I'm saying is you can do it real easily because, 1, you have all the industry supposedly in coal. You have all the industry supposedly in wind turbines, and I think they're growing at a high rate of speed. You've got all this stuff, and yet you do not bring revenue back to your state and to the people. Now, your state needs adjusting too, and I want to adjust it. And the way I say adjust it is, I live in a business town of 150 people, a small little town called Mountain, Wyoming. And in that little town, I run a little restaurant. I've served 25 years in the Wyoming National Guard, 3 years in the United States Army, 1 overseas, and so I have over 28 years of military education. I was an instructor in the military. But that's besides the point. Now I went and I moved to Elk Mountain in 1998, and I said to myself, I want to see what happens from the top to the bottom, not from the bottom to the top. I ran in 2002 for governor, and I ran against Friedenbach, and I ran against all of them people. You're still fighting the same damn problems you did in 2002 to today, and that's not the way. However, with that being said, what did I learn in Elk Mountain? I learned something most people don't even get a chance to hear. I hear the world every day. And what I mean by the world is, Mr. Bird said our number 1 thing is tourism. No, I disagree. Our number 1 revenue is government. That's the number 1. Because basically what happens there is, look at your rural communities. What have they lost? They've lost small businesses. They don't have the things that they need to have. They don't have the things that they need to operate. I can say this honestly and openly. I ran a small business for 28 years in Elk Mountain with a population of 150 people. And basically it's paid for. How did I accomplish that? Real simple. I had to do all the work myself. So when they come out and say I'm a 4th generation rancher, I go like this. I'm boy. I'm a 3rd generation working man. And I'm that kind of guy because everybody that's sat in this room has had to give life and work and do their job. We're forgetting that. However, with that being said, I have a storefront. I'm going to ask you people a question. How do you tell if you're on a Wyoming highway compared to a federal highway? How do you know you're on a Wyoming highway? Maybe got an answer?
Can we be quiet, please? We're having a hard time.
The answer's real simple. In 1924, Wyoming passed a law. It said the county commissioners in Wyoming would designate highways. They designated them highways. Once them highways were designated, they came back and said, now who's going to administer that? Well, in 1929, they came up with the Wyoming Highway Patrol. They're the administrators. But what people don't understand is this. They're the administrators, but they're not administrators. You think they are, but they're not. And that's real easy to say. Why? Because I live on that Wyoming highway, and the way you tile a Wyoming highway is look at the stripes down the center of the street. If they're yellow, you're Wyoming. If it's yellow and white, you're on the interstate. So basically, they're supposed to take care of us. But the gut legislature and everybody else went and said this. We're going to get a Title 31 in the Wyoming legislature. Title 31 says the sheriff can enforce the law. The town commissioners and the city council and the police force can administer the law. And the third one is the Wyoming Highway Patrol. 28 years on a street that is no longer, I would say, from where that lady out there is standing, is the front door to my store. And in 28 years, I've seen not one traffic ticket. Not one. Now this is going to rock the boat, and it rocks it because I speak from the heart now. I've got the thorns to do it. In Elkmount today, we have a Wyoming transportation facility there. And that Wyoming transportation facility gets employees, young ladies, young men, and everything to come there. Why? How do they do it? You're 46 miles from the grocery store. You're 52 miles from Laramie, and all this. So how do they do it? They say this. You come up here and work in the Wyoming Highway Department, we'll give you a house, we'll give you your gas, we'll give you your sewer, we'll give you everything you get. Who pays for that? Me? Every one of them. And you ask me, right? Yeah. Because we don't get that. And basically there's a dilemma. Because you're not getting your revenues. You think of these guys that are way up at the top in Wyoming right now. You think of your data center out here right now. They are all taxable. Every one of them is taxable. And what you should be saying is people in voting in Wyoming, that you said, what's our payback? Where do we get our money? Because I want to tell you, I hear it all the time. Number one, what would you do with public lands? That's our land. That's not their land. And it will never be their land, as far as I know. Number two, what are you going to do about data centers? I'm going to tax the living heck out of it. You want to come? Come on. Bring it on. Come on in. But when you get in there, you're spending, what's the average data center going to cost? Over $4 billion. Well, where do you get it? You're losing your water, your air, your stuff, and we're losing it. Now, how do I take on Eric Barlow? I'm going to tell you how to take on Eric Barlow, if you would like. Listen just a minute. You take on Eric Barlow by one important avenue. That important avenue is your damn birthrights. Believe it or not, it's you. It's the voter with the birthright to do it. If we don't, in this recent election, he got a funding by the outside. He says it's in the inside. I'm saying it's the outside. Because basically he got a funding of $1,640,000 for Wyoming to run against James Byrd or anybody else, the governor in the state of Wyoming. That's what he's got. You know what I say to that? That's making me smile because now he's lying to you. And how do I know he's lying to you? It's real simple. There is legislative laws that have been on the books for over 40 years. And that 40 years is one of them is, do you know a rancher could go out to, he owns the land, so he owns everything.
I'm so sorry, we have to move on to the next candidate. We have a representative for
Can I
Elizabeth.
just let me finish this little statement?
1 second.
Okay, 1 sentence, okay? Well, then there's 262,000 people in Wyoming that didn't vote. Put that in your stocks, because that's what you need. You need to get out there and get them people moving. There you go. 1 sentence, all that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.